Well, hello everybody. How are you? I'm thrilled to be with all of you. Welcome, welcome. I know I'm a little bit early, but we're going to get started here. I'm really excited to be with all of you because we are going to be talking about impulsivity. Oh, what? I'm so excited to talk about this whole area of impulsivity. Like what's happening inside of your relationship with your body, with impulsivity. If and it's more complex. As I'm doing more research on impulsivity, I just want to say hi everybody. As I'm doing more research on impulsivity, there's some things that I really am excited today to tell you and teach you and have you look at impulsivity not as something that is just like see it, eat it, but that it goes deeper than that. And what I'm hoping that you walk away with today is really a sense of, wow, how do I start getting in front of this so that I can also start to see some really awesome weight loss results? Hello, Miss Sue. Hello, Erin. Hi, Barbara. Hi, everybody joining. So happy to have you both on the phone as well as on Facebook. So nice seeing you. And just remember, if at any point the phone or the Facebook is a little choppy or anything, just pop right on the phone and that'll help you just hear everything and make sure that you have a really nice, clean experience because I don't want you missing out on anything today. So let's talk about how you can start seeing faster weight loss results by really starting to address and get in front of some of this impulsivity that you might be experiencing. And one of the things that I want to do is let me start by having you go through a mini assessment. Let me ask you a few questions and just kind of see what you think. Just answer yes or no as I ask some of these questions. So, I don't plan my meals. I eat whatever sounds good in the moment. Is that you or is that not you? Number 2, when I'm bored, I tend to turn to food. Yes or no? Number 3, I use food to calm my frustration, anger, or other emotions that I'm feeling. I use food to calm. We're talking about calming the frustration, anger, or other emotions. Number 4, I have a hard time sticking to a diet. Yes or no? Number 5, if I smell food, I often want to eat it. For everybody just joining, it's welcome. I'm just doing a mini assessment to have you sort of look at what is going on inside of your relationship with impulsivity. And lastly, number 6, even though I don't plan on eating something, I at times find myself unconsciously going through a drive-through or a fast food joint and grabbing some food. And it could be whatever. It could be just like I find myself going through Starbucks. I find myself going through McDonald's. I just find myself grabbing food, even though I didn't have any conscious. It seems like it's almost unconscious to me. Okay? So I want you to think about impulsivity as a thought and a sense. Okay? A lot of times we just think of it as like, oh, I want food and I'm going to eat it. But I really want you to open and expand your thinking about impulsivity to include all of your senses. And here's what I mean by that. You can see some food and then you want to eat it. You can see birthday cake at a party or at work and you want to eat it. You can smell something. Like last night, my husband and I were walking around the block with our dog and all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, it smells so good. The grill is going, right? You can smell something and then you want to eat it. You can feel something. Tired, bored, sad, irritated, and you want to eat something, right? So it can affect all of your senses. You can also think about something like, oh, I'm thinking about a certain food item, and then you want it. And then for those of you who are empaths, you take on other people's energy. And for those of you who are empaths, I want you to be specifically aware of you feeling other people's feelings, feeling overwhelmed sometimes by them. And then you turn to food because you just want to numb out and not feel them. So can any of you relate to any of those reasons why you might be using impulsivity as a way to turn to food, as a way to cope through life, as a way to nurture yourself? And that's why I always say that your weight gain, those extra pounds that you want off, are often put on for love, protection, nurturing, numbing out. And so how do we start to solve that? We have to get a little bit defrosted. We have to kind of like defrost those feelings, feel those feelings, and get in front of it. I'm going to teach you how to do that today. Hi, Miss Karen. So good to see you. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Paula. Hi, Denise. Hi, Sue. Hi, Roberta. I love that you're here. Hi, Kate. Nice to see everybody. So happy you're here. Let me pop on over the phone. Hi, everybody on the phone all over. Hi, everybody. So good to have you here with me. So I really want you to just notice that impulsivity is not just see it, eat it. It really expands the whole emotional it expands all of our emotions. And so when we know that, including our thoughts, then we can go, whoa. Oh, wow. And this is really true. Like if you think of our auditory sense, some of us have really sensitive senses, especially if you're an empath, you might have even more. But like I'm sensitive to auditory noises. If it's too loud, if things are too high pitched, if there's too much going on, I kind of recoil up a little bit. I don't feel comfortable. And so I can see that there have been times where things get really loud, it feels out of control to me, and then I reach for food. That auditory, and I'm just looking for the quiet, I'm looking for the numbing out, I'm looking for the peace if things are getting too loud. Or for those of you who are with a lot of people and you're introverts and you're with a lot of people, and you might love being with people and you might love it, but then too much of it will lend itself to feeling like, oh my gosh, I just need a break. I just need peace. I just need some space here. So just notice, then you turn to food impulsively. You didn't have it planned. It has nothing to do with hunger. You turn to food impulsively to numb you out, to not feel, to calm your other senses. Okay? So that's what we're talking about here in terms of impulsivity. It looks very different than what the natural and normal way of thinking about impulsivity looks like. So this impulsivity, where we know that we're really looking for impulsivity is where we just all of a sudden want to eat. Okay? It has nothing to do with the physicality of our bodies. It has to do with this desire to numb, to not feel, to party, to play. You can be impulsive and be like, woohoo, let's have fun every Friday night. I just don't care. Let's eat, right? It can look like that too. I just want to have fun. So let's get drinking me. Let's start eating. Right? And that's how impulsivity can take place too. So I just want you to be aware of and start to look at impulsivity as part of your life. And is it triggering you to eat? Is it triggering you to overeat? Is it triggering you to have food and it has nothing to do with your body's need for that food? And that's how we start to break some of this down. So one is just noticing. Is impulsivity part of your life? Are you impulsive? Are you eating impulsively? When? How? So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to notice, and you can share with me inside of the comments, are there times where you're impulsive? Are there times where you're turning to food impulsively? Yes or no? And that's the first step. We just start looking at, okay, what's happening? The second thing, then what I want you to do is look at what are your thoughts, your emotions, and your environmental cues that trigger you to impulsively turn to food. And how are you using that? Are you using it to party? Are you using it to numb out? Are you using it because you feel overstimulated and you want to drown out the noise, or drown out your thoughts, drown out the visual cues, drown out your body? What's happening? This is very important. And some of you, I'm already saying, yes, definitely. Okay, you definitely find yourself impulsively eating. Great, and turning to food. Okay, so this is great. This will help you so much today. So much. Kristen, when you're driving, yes, usually tired and I want to numb out. Yes, that can absolutely be, see, it's like an emotional cue, a physical cue. My body's tired and I'm going to try to keep it awake, so I'm going to turn to food, right? Instead of looking at, okay, that exhaustion and the source of the feeling tired. Where can I start to address that at the source? Okay. Karen, you said yes, frustration with work, exhaustion, with the hours I'm working, boredom and sadness. Yeah, so there's all of these reasons why we can impulsively turn to food. Okay. When there's conflict around you. Yes, Rosaria, when you feel other people's energy, or there's a conflict and it feels uncomfortable. And what are you trying to do? You're trying to make peace inside of yourself, inside of your head, inside of your body. See how it's much more complex than just grabbing something. See how complex it is? It has to do with our senses and our thoughts and our feelings. So then we get to look at what is happening. You impulsively eat, Courtney, at a restaurant. When others are eating, I want to eat. Yes, I want to fit in. I want to match them, right? So it's weird. It feels weird to you to be just sitting there when other people are eating. Totally get it. Totally get it. Your body's not hungry, but impulsive. Everybody's eating, I'm going to eat too. Right? Going to a party, everybody's eating, I'm going to eat too. So this is the part of ourselves that we have to have some conversations around. I do this too. I am definitely sensory sensitive auditorily, and I'm an introvert. So if I get if there's too many people and things around me for too long, I need to kind of hunker in a little bit. I need to go into my little circle, into my little self. And food can be a way that you numb out. So if you all know that you're looking for numbing out, you're looking for calm, you're looking for relaxation, you're looking to drown out the noise in your head, then that's what you know you're looking for. So remember, as we're looking at this, one, you notice if impulsivity is in your life, where is it? You just kind of look and you feel and you get a sense of what's happening inside of my life around impulsively just grabbing food. Why is this happening? And then two, we look a little deeper, okay? First, just recognize it's happening. Second, we go a little deeper. What are the thoughts, emotions, environmental cues that trigger you to start impulsively grabbing food without thinking, without feeling, without the need for food? Some people would grab something else. In our case, we would grab food. So then let's recognize that. Spend a little time today writing this out, looking at it, seeing what's happening inside of your life in this area. And then once you've done that, I want you to then recognize the purpose. What's the purpose in your impulsive eating? Why is it happening? What is going on inside of your relationship in your life that you're needing to numb out, drown out, not think, not feel? How are you using food? What is its purpose? Okay. When you then know that information, then we can start looking at that, right? Then we can start picking apart your life a little bit and going, okay, I'm using food to numb out. I'm using food because it gives me something to look forward to. And I'm not feeling like every day feels like, same old day. And so food is exciting to me. So I'm using it to feel something. So it could be to numb out. It could also be to feel. Once you know that, then here's why this is so important in the work that we do here, and why so many of my programs are all focused on this area. Because as an emotional eater, when we turn to food for reasons other than hunger, then we know there's something emotional, there's something else going on. Because if food is supposed to be in the physical realm, when we're hungry, we use food and eat food. And then when we feel something else, we have to address it in a new way. That's why all my programs look at separating your hunger from your emotional world. Because a lot of times we start bringing them in together through loss, through pain, through sufferings, through emotion, through boredom. We start to connect these two worlds together, our emotional world with our physical world. So when we start to separate them and you start to notice, hey, listen, I'm eating for all these impulsive reasons, for all these reasons that are outside of my body's desire or need for food. I should say need for food, physical need for food. And there's all these emotional needs that I have that I'm tying in with my food and with eating. Then we know we have to deal with that ball in a different way. That ball of emotions, separate from the physicality of things. So if you find yourself impulsively eating, then we have to look at, okay, what are your true needs? What are your true wants? Why is this happening to you? And then the very first step is to start to see that your brain wants food and just to allow it. Okay, so you might want to write these down. Your brain just wants food. So one is just to recognize it. Oh, wow, I'm feeling really impulsive. My brain is wanting food to numb me out, relax me, calm me down. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling like I need a break. I'm feeling like I need something. And so my brain is turning to food. But what I really want, what my body's really needing, what my brain is really needing is to just numb out and get a little space. Great. Then it's about dealing with those emotions. Can I feel the feeling of needing space? Can I give myself the space, the numbing out, the not thinking, the not feeling, the grounding energy, the relaxing? Can you give yourself that for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? Can you be with it? Can you allow it without needing food to help you on that journey to numb out? Because you know what we're left with oftentimes? Y'all been there. We eat and then we're like, dang it, why did I do that again? Oh, I told myself I wasn't going to do that today. What's going on? Come on. Things were going to be different today. Why is it that I keep doing this? And then you feel really frustrated with yourself and you feel really angry with yourself. And you go, gosh darn it, and here we go again. And then you try again. So that's okay. That's part of the process of starting to get in front of us, is to recognize that it's happening and then starting to get in front of it. So we're going to have lots of, it's like waves, sometimes we're going to be able to get in front of it. Sometimes that wave's really high and we're going to crash and burn. That's okay. Sometimes that wave we're like, woo, I can ride that wave. I did great. I rode that wave beautifully. We don't always know that these waves are coming, right? We don't know the wave of being overstimulated is coming. We don't know the auditory overwhelm is coming. We don't know that mental overwhelm is coming. So sometimes it's like, oh, please just calm me down, food. But if you can recognize, wow, I'm really wanting food to calm me down. The kids are really loud in my ears right now. They are needing a lot of me. And I just feel inside of my body this desire to shut down. That's what it's like for me. It's like if too many people need things, I just feel this desire to like shut down. So I breathe. I feel that desire. I feel the shutting down. I feel the relaxing that I need, the grounding that I need. And I ask for the support that I need. Wow, guys, you guys are really loud. Can you just hold on one second? Ask for what you need. Okay? So you can see food that you can see in your mind that your body or your mind is wanting food, and just know that. 1. 2, you could smell something and just notice, oh, my brain likes that. My brain is wanting food. Interesting. I just smelled that deliciousness. I don't have to do anything with that. Oh, I'm feeling this feeling that's triggering my desire to want to go to food. Interesting. I don't have to do anything with that. Wow. What else am I needing? Right? So when we start to really, if you happen to be really sensitive from a sensory standpoint, it's no wonder that you've used a substance like food to help support you and drown some of this oversensitivity out. You think about it, and then you pile work and kids and loudness and voices and TV and whatnot. Some of you are really in that world where there's a lot of stimulation. Others of you are in the total opposite realm of life, in a different part of your life, and you're like, there's not much stimulation, so I'm using food to try to stimulate my life. I'm needing a little joy and a little fun. And so, you know what? I didn't plan to eat, but I walked past the cabinet and the kitchen and I grabbed something because I'm bored. And if you notice that, I'm bored, then it's feeling the boredom, allowing it, and then coming up with a strategy. Hey, listen, 3 o'clock, I start feeling really bored. Here's some new ways that I want to start supporting my life with some new stimulation, with some new excitement, with some new fun that has nothing to do with food. Hi, Miss Lynn. Good to see you. Hi, Miss Sandy. Okay. So I think a lot of times we think of like this desire for food as like purely physical or emotional, but we don't always recognize that our senses, hearing, feeling, seeing, smelling, that our senses are really big part of this if you are finding yourself just grabbing food and you're being more impulsive lately, or you're just impulsive in general. You want to bring the impulsivity down by feeling and allowing yourself to deal with it in a different way. Because food, although it may feel like for a moment or two, you're shifting your energy, you're shifting your focus, you're doing a state change, what you're left with are those extra pounds. And I know you don't want to be left with those extra pounds. You want to be seeing your weight go down. So the way to do that is to allow the feeling, breathe through the feeling. Oh, recognize the feeling, recognize what's going on, and separating your physical world, your hunger world, from your emotional world. And as you separate those two out, your weight gets to go down easily, effortlessly, naturally, because no longer are you eating for this triggered response, this impulsive response to wanting food, but now you're actually putting food in its place, which is for hunger. And that's why all my programs have you looking at separating these two things out so that you're dealing with your food in a different way, in a physical way, and you're dealing with your emotions in an emotional way that they are needing your attention with. Okay? So I'm hoping, let me just remind you of these 3 steps. 1, I want you to notice if impulsivity is affecting your relationship with food. Yes or no? Simple enough. Next, I want you to start taking time. Just grab a piece of paper and start looking at what thoughts, what emotions, what environmental cues are triggering you to impulsively eat. Driving, seeing food, hearing food, thinking about food. What's happening in your life in relationship with that impulsivity? And then lastly, we're going to start recognizing what it is that what is it doing for you? What are you trying to get out of that impulsivity? Okay? What's the purpose of it? When you know the purpose, I'm trying to numb out. I'm trying to not feel. I'm trying to calm myself down. I'm trying to avoid this uncomfortable situation. Okay, then you have a label for it. And when you have a label for it, then you can help your brain know what to do with it. Okay, I can eat, or I can just breathe and relax. I can ask my kids, I need a timeout. I just need to remove myself. I can remove myself from the overwhelm that I'm experiencing and I'm feeling, okay, inside of my body. I can tell my brain, wow, this does really smell good. Hey, listen, next time you're hungry, let's go get some of whatever that you're smelling, okay? We're going to start dealing with it, and if we don't know that it's happening, or we're making ourselves wrong because it's happening, I mean, how many of you are doing that? How many of you are making yourself wrong for being impulsive? Versus really understanding why you are impulsive. Where is it really coming from? It's such the good work that I love doing, because it really gets to more the core of why you're turning to food. And if you understand why you're being impulsive, what's really going on inside of your life that you're using food for, then you can actually do something about it. Then we can actually take this on in a new way. Then you can get in front of it and lose weight by slowly, little by little, starting to be with that actual emotion. And when you see that, and then what's so cool then is you're going to start to see patterns. I started to see patterns of auditory stimulation for me, looking at, oh my goodness, when I have too much auditory stimulation going on, it's too much, and then I want to drown out all that noise. And food was the way that I would do it. If I just ate, then I could just find peace for a few minutes. Okay, well, if I'm finding peace for those few minutes auditorily, guess what I'm doing? I'm gaining weight, and I don't want that. So how else can I auditorily relax myself, move away, move out of a situation? I can get into a quieter environment. I can, from a boundary standpoint, I can request one person talk to me at a time. I can relax that voice in my head that's starting to panic, that energy inside of me that's starting to build up. We can do so much just with breath work to just relax the energy in our bodies, so that we don't feel so much of that desire to impulsively turn to food. Okay? So you all have some work to do right now in the area of impulsivity. You have just some research to do. That is all. Start looking at when and how this might show up in your life. When you notice yourself being impulsive, write it down. Start seeing the patterns and the habits of your eating when you don't even mean to eat, but you just walk by a cabinet and it looks good and you want to have food. Start being aware of this and allowing your feelings to be seen and felt. Allow yourself to start supporting your body to feel those feelings. And tell yourself, it's okay, I got you, you're safe. Yes, you're feeling really out of control. Yeah, this doesn't feel comfortable. Wow, yeah, I'm hearing these people yell, or I'm in this uncomfortable situation that doesn't feel good. Good for you for recognizing it. Good job. See how my self-talk can just slowly, with breath, start to bring myself down. I start going from this elevated state to a calmer, more relaxed state. That's why I use my breath so much. And then looking at, what do I need? What's another way? If, let's say, you want to grab food, you could be like, great, I'm going to want to grab food. And what is another way that I could deal with this? Allow your brain to give it an opportunity to start thinking outside of what it's been conditioned to do. which is grab food when you feel a certain way, when you're exposed in a certain way, when you feel uncomfortable in a certain way, when you feel impulsive. And instead, I want you to start thinking about, oh, let's expand it. Let's give your brain a little bit of work by being like, yep, I can turn to food. And what else could I do to relax my body, to calm my senses? Let's start giving your brain the opportunity. And here's the cool thing. You give your brain the opportunity, it will do it for you. But you have to remember to do it. What else could I do? Yes, food is one option. Don't make that wrong. We just want to expand it. Yes, food is one option. What other options could I turn to? Could I use? Could I do? Okay. How else can I relax my body? How else could I numb out? What are some other ways that I could find myself really using my brain to help me, numb out? And then start writing them down. Start using them. You might go, oh, breath work is great. I started to see, wow, I could start using my breath. I could start asking for what I needed. I could start sitting with the discomfort without feeling like I had to do much about it. But I was it's like the question is, are you willing to do it? I want you all to answer this. Are you willing? Are you open to looking at this and to sit with the feeling at hand versus numbing it out? And you know that there's weight gain on the other side of the numbing out. If you're going to numb out with food, then unfortunately, there's the unfortunate consequence of weight gain. Or are you willing to sit with the feeling, allow it, not be so scared of it, and reprogram in a new way of being? When you feel sensorily, I think that's a word, if you're feeling that your senses are activated, you're feeling triggered, and you just want to respond really quickly by turning to food. So we're going to all work on reducing that impulsivity, okay? By sitting with it. Awesome, Lynn. Love it. You are so welcome, Miss Christine. Yes, some of you, feel this overwhelmingly different experience with COVID and being home, that you feel like you're stimulated in an entirely different way than you ever have been. Because either you're at home or you've got more commotion, you've got more things going on, your habits, your patterns have been totally, invaded upon. And then you go, well, why did I gain weight during COVID? What's going on? Well, you've got this emotional stress, you've got mental stress, you've got environmental stress, you've got all these things happening, working, and you've used food to numb you out and nurture you. Well, of course you've gained weight. But when we start recognizing, oh, wait, how am I using? Oh, yeah, I just want food. What is going on? What's happening right here? Why am I wanting food? I'm wanting to numb out. I'm wanting to calm down. I'm wanting to comfort myself. Okay? We start expanding. Listen, food is always going to be one of my comforts. But I knew that if it was my only comfort, I was going to have a lot of trouble in my life with my weight. And so if I could expand out those comforts to include breath work, to include positive self-talk, to include sitting with the feeling and not being scared of my own feelings, to include setting some boundaries, to include asking for help and support when I feel overstimulated. What can happen then is I have all these other ways to help support me so that it's not just me grabbing food as my go-to. I have the other things to go to. Sometimes it's still the grabbing, but most of the time, as you practice new ways of being, new ways of dealing with that impulsivity, new ways of looking at what that impulsivity is really meaning, like what's the purpose of your impulsivity? If you can answer that question, what's the purpose of that impulsive act? And you can start really getting in front of it, you will lose weight. Because all of a sudden, you're no longer grabbing food for emotional reasons. You're separating these out. And if you want practice on that, then take the Thin Within method. If you haven't taken the Thin Within method, super reasonable, super effective. Get your brain starting to think in this way. Some of you I know have already taken it or are taking it now. Awesome. We're going to start reprogramming this, okay? I'm so glad you needed this message today. So good. So just enjoy your life and just notice without judgment what's happening. Start to notice those grabby moments and just go, oh, what is this meaning? What's the purpose? Why am I turning to food? What am I trying to think or feel? What am I trying to numb out? Any of those questions are good. You could just have, what's the purpose of this? Great. Is there another way that I could feel this way? Or is there another thing I could do to feel the same feeling, to meet that purpose? Okay? All right, everybody. I am sending you so much love. Play with this. Know that this is not about being perfect. That if you can imagine impulsivity like waves, sometimes you are going to just be able to get on that wave and surf your little way through it. Other times you're going to crash and burn. It's okay. That's okay. That's part of reprogramming. We're changing the patterns of your life. So just know as we're changing those patterns, the key is just noticing and allowing it and then trying to do something different. Sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes it's not. But knowing that purpose, knowing what's at the core is the thing that's going to start to set you free as you start getting in front of it. All right. Sending you so much love. I'll talk to all of you soon. If you would like more tools, take my free course. Take the Thin Within method. This will all start to help you to rewire your brain to think, eat, and live differently and like the naturally thin. All right, everybody. Talk to you soon.